Ba 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 na na.
Banana.
Hi guys, I'm Bob.
I'm Kevin.
And I'm Stuart.
Welcome to our podcast called Banana, where we talk about the missions given to us by our boss Gru. He doesn't know that we do this, and if he finds out, we will probably get fired.
So what we're asked to do this time? Rob a bank? Blow up a building? The answer is find out the information about this GMA series called Maria Clara and Ibarra. We had to access the deep web to watch it. Deep web. Like
Deep
a
web. Whoa, scary. For a synopsis of MCAI's plot, basically we have this main character called Clay, who's a nursing student. She doesn't understand the importance of learning Jose Rizal's books and their relevance to her course. The next thing she knew, she was already inside the book experiencing the events herself. This series is based on Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo, which are two novels that helped spark a rebellion in Philippine history. Their plots are full of social issues and injustices that happened during the Spanish colonization in the 1800s that are parallel to what was happening in the Philippines, which is why these works by our national hero served as a wake-up call.
I think it's a good thing that a series such as Maria Clara and Ibarra was created because even though the original Elfili and Nolini novels are taught in the school, let's be honest, we immediately forgot about them. As long anything it's academically related, our brain is just like go
That's
in, go
right,
out.
Tony. We
Ooh.
don't retain anything as long as it's related to school. So, to start off this podcast, let's talk about episode 15 first. The main problem for this episode was that Chrysostoma, Ibarra, and Clay did not know what to do, how to help Crispy and Basilio. Ibarra was torn about whether he had made the right decision to involve Maria Clara in this. It was made worse when he and his fiancée met up, only to find that Maria Clara pleading to Padre Salvi did not work. Although this was quickly resolved when Chrysostom remembered that the former head priest is Maria Clara's uncle and that they could write to him about Padre Salvi's doings. Another problem presented in the end of the episode was that the lower and the middle class Filipinos were shown of being prohibited to having access to proper education. First, let's start off with what I liked in the episode. I'm in love with the way the characters act. I don't watch Filipino shows at all. I had low expectations. You could say I had low expectations for this. When you say local dramas in the Philippines, always the ones with the kabit and sigawan stuff. I really like how the way things were paced because it's such a new thing for Filipino shows to have just the right pacing. You're enjoying watching the episode too much.
Slow
It's
burn.
just like, yeah, with Netflix shows or K dramas that you're enjoying it too much. You don't know that the episode is already done. You're like, that's it, I need more. The runtime of the show was maximized. Like there was not a single moment that was wasted. Everything that they placed in the episode was essential. The showmakers did an absolutely great job at the setting. Majority of locally produced drama only rely on color grading. That's why they take in account the lightings of the shows. When you watch them, it doesn't look good. Even just one episode actually. If you look at Maria Clara and Ibarra, sorry to use Tagalog, pero parang pinag-isipan lahat. Everything was taken into account. That's why I like it. But the only thing I hated was the side characters because the main characters did an amazing job. The villain, the protagonist, but the side characters, especially Crispin and Basilio, even though they were side characters, they had major roles in the novel. So it's essential that their acting must also be realistic, but I really can't take them serious because it's so unnatural. Wag po, wag niyo po kaming saktan. Inosente po kami. Opo, tama po si Ate Clyde, di ba po, kuya? It's because the intonations of their voice are so unnatural, that's why it throws me off.
Episode 16, Clay had informed Sisa that her sons were getting beaten at the church, so they told the church that Crispin and Basilio would not go there anymore. Although Salvi's assistant refused, he had no choice because of Clay's attitude. The assistant reported to Padre Salvi about Clay and Crisostomo when he saw them walking home. The next day, Clay also made it clear to Fidel that she didn't like him, and they had a short banter before Crisostomo had to call Fidel to talk about his school plan. Padre Salvi passed the misinformation about Clay and Ibarra to Maria Clara, who looks so uncomfortable in his presence, but still she overthinks about what the priest told her and let it get to her. The main conflict was the two children getting abused, but some somehow it was getting resolved. They did stop going to the church. We don't know whether the church will get back to them or to Sisa for stopping them. Sisa still symbolized a mother's love for her children, while the two symbolized the injustice that was thrown at the Ibarras. The actors, like the four main characters, are like so visuals, everything. Like I'm gay for
And in
the
marriage
the
real.
yes, like I'm gay for the girls
Yeah.
and like so straight for the boys. The actors really outdid themselves with this one. Also, Padre Salvi, Panot. I really hated his character, but I love how his actor portrayed him. I can still feel the uncomfortableness of Maria Clara. They really had a good acting chemistry. The No Limit Tangere and El Filibusterismo, you know, that was used by Jose Rizal to spark the hearts of the Filipinos to start a revolution against the Spanish. This really made an impact about understanding patriotism and nationalism like in the Filipinos before and I think in the Filipinos now. Because the show let the modern day Filipino experience the past like Clay. Clay experienced firsthand the problem in the Philippines have been dealing with before. The show wanted the viewers to see the Filipinos have fought before to protect the people and our country. The show used Clay as a Gen Z character. I think the writers intended to reignite the love and passion of Filipinos for this nation like Jose Rizal did in the past.
Episode 17. While Sisa and her son were spending time together, Padre Salvi, annoying right hand, informed them that two boys need to go back to the convent, accused of stealing money. Sisa fought Mang Renato for the sake of her children's innocent but in vain. She visits the Ibarra's household looking for Clay, hopefully to get help, but she and Crisostomo were both unavailable at that time. It turned out that the main character was sick, so Sisa understood the situation. She was becoming uneasy. Her two sons were still at the Salvis convent, so she checked on them. When she arrived, she encounters the snobbish right hand from earlier. Sisa fought Mang Renato for the sake of her children's innocent but in vain, captured if she insisted. This episode's main conflict was possible of Sisa losing her children, a mother not being able to do what she wants to. Imagine someone telling you that you don't have to any right to say on what happened to your kids. There's some things that I like about this episode and dislike about. Also, the Spanish word and the translation. I really liked it. I think Clay is very funny for me, like that I don't like. I know whenever the two kids scene arrive on the screen, it's funny for me. I know that the characters were in despair or in negative. I found it funny. I don't know if they're taking it seriously or what. Also how Clay fell look on in purpose. I'm crying about it. Also, I don't like Padre Salvi.
Panot.
Also, the
Panot.
intro, when the intro started,
Before we end this episode, we would want to talk about how we would be able to preserve our literature, any kind of literature actually, for people in our age till the future, possibly. I think adapting old literature or existing ones to versions that people with our attention span would like or would be able to read. Because honestly, if you make us read books that aren't fan fiction that involve our fandoms for the sake of passing schoolworks, I mean, even though they have good lessons, but the execution is the words of Filipino are too deep to the point where it's almost alien language that we don't understand anymore. I think that's one of the reasons why we can't appreciate them. One big factor with appreciating a piece of media is relatability. One of the lessons in our subject is use of multimedia. Like we have websites, we could make podcasts like these, make them into social media AUs. I mean, I don't know how you're gonna do that. Like with Padre Salvi and Mang Renato side by side, but they have to chat in Twitter.
Texting. Texting and stuff like and there's
Yeah.
like live tweeting stuff like Clay live tweeting Maria Clara and Ibarra's
Yes. And
relationship.
then you add trigger warning, major character death. And then you get cancelled because they don't like the plot. That you learned a lot of things from our podcast. Thank you for listening. Bye.
bye!